All right, everybody, if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, I really appreciate you tuning in. I have some very interesting stories for you and a lot of audio to play. And I want to get started with this tragic situation that happened in Virginia uh, about a dog, a K-9, who was killed in the line of duty. This is from Blaze Media. Let's check it out. Heroic K-9 killed by incarcerated MS-13 members, Virginia Department of Corrections says. It says a 5-year-old canine passed away due to injuries sustained in the line of duty, according to the Virginia Department of Corrections, which reported that corrections officer Charisma Phillip Fields, if I said that correctly, and the dog responded when inmates tied to MS-13 assaulted another prisoner. This is what makes me sick. The dog, named Rivian, passed away after being repeatedly stabbed and kicked. It says on Tuesday, April 2nd, 3 inmates affiliated with MS-13 who were housed at a state prison in Virginia viciously attacked another inmate within one of the facility's housing units. I'm sorry. A fourth inmate appeared to be supervising the brutal assault. Rivian was violently and repeatedly stabbed and kicked by the inmates and later tragically died at the facility, while Virginia Department of Corrections staff attempted life-saving measures. Officer Phillips Field, a trained canine handler and 4-year veteran of the department, sustained no injuries due to her training and Rivian's courageous actions. Order was restored by Officer Phillips Fields, responding corrections officers, and Rivian's actions. The attacked inmate was transported to a local hospital for injuries sustained in the attack and was later returned to the facility. This is heartbreaking right here. We don't like to see anything like this happen. The department indicated that the inmates involved in the assault had been in the country unlawfully when they were arrested. This right here is a prime reason why we cannot have open borders. The inmates involved in the malicious attack are from El Salvador and Guatemala, and at least 3 are verified members of MS-13. Dangerous, violent gang. Very just atrocious. The department has confirmed that all 4 of the inmates were in the United States illegally, and at the time of their arrest and conviction, the inmates incarcerated for several charges, including first-degree homicide, attempted rape, kidnapping, abduction, malicious wounding, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, child pornography charges, grand larceny, and possession of a Schedule III drug. The Virginia Department of Corrections intends to pursue prosecution of the inmates to the full extent of the law. The animal would have been 6 years old at the end of the month. This is what Governor Glenn Youngkin had to say. He said, "God bless Rivian, a heroic canine who was killed in the line of duty in Virginia. These barbaric members of MS-13 will be held accountable," and they should be. This is very sad. Animals have a very dear place in my heart, especially situations like this when this dog was doing its job, a trained professional, protecting, trying to break up a fight, going in there head on, doing what it was trained to do. And these low-life, illegal, scumbag, gangster thugs, killers, they're insects. They're not even human beings, in my opinion. I'm sorry. That if some people get offended by that, look, just the fact that they would even pull out a knife and stab and kick a dog is just sickening. It makes me sick to my stomach. I was so upset when I heard this. It was my birthday yesterday, and I read about it, and it just put me in a really sour mood for a solid 30 minutes because I can only imagine what the dog was going through. And look, I don't know. I don't like having that visual in my head, but it's sickening. These thugs were in the United States illegally. They're in prison for all kinds of charges. You saw the list, right? You heard the list that I named off of all these homicide and rape and kidnapping. These people had no business being here. And this brings me to my next point about Donald Trump being so good at the messaging on illegal immigration. He is hammering this issue hardcore. more than anything else, yes, there's inflation, there are other things going on, but illegal immigration is the cornerstone of his campaign as it was in 2016. Let's check out what he has to say in remarks in Michigan.
Stop the plunder, rape, slaughter, and destruction of our American suburbs, cities, and towns. We will end deadly sanctuary cities immediately. I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement, and we will impose a naval blockade on the cartels, and we will hit the cartels very hard, but we're going to impose a naval blockade.
Look, he's great at hammering this issue. He was in Michigan delivering remarks, and the guy brings the issue home. Let's keep going here.
Fentanyl and opioid deaths in your state are up before, steering thousands and thousands of these vats of poison right into Michigan lives. And once peaceful, suburban Michigan is really now, you're under an invasion. And there's no way you can vote for this guy. I mean, look, I don't want to be too casual about it. There's no way you can vote for this guy. You see what I see. And there's just no way. If he makes it to the starting gate, which I find it hard to believe, but if he does, there's just no way. We have to get law and order back. These are the best people in the world. They will know. The sheriff's behind me, and this is in all states. Somebody said, how will you get these criminals out? I say the sheriffs, the police officers, the police, law enforcement in their local communities, they know every bad kid, they know every bad person, they know their first name, their middle name, they know their phone numbers, they have their cell phones, they have everything about them. They know exactly what to do and how to do it. These guys know exactly what I'm talking about, but we have to let them do their job, and we're going to work out a federal immunity for police so they're allowed to do their job without losing their...
That's great to hear. Donald Trump is a master at messaging. This is what the GOP needs to learn how to do. He's taking this immigration issue and he is ramming it down the throats of the American people in a good way. He's bringing it to the forefront. If you look on his Truth Social page, this guy posts every day about illegal immigration, whether it's video clips, whether it's just posting statistics. This guy is on top of it. And a lot of Republicans were scared to touch this issue, but he picked it up and ran with it back in 2016. And in 2020, it was not an issue. It was not an issue back in 2020 because the border was secure. So nobody talked about it. But now you have Biden who came in here and just decimated a lot of these things that Trump put in place and allowed for millions and millions of people to come across the country illegally. But what he's doing right now on the campaign trail, meeting with law enforcement agencies, was in Michigan, meeting with sheriffs, police departments, and he drives the issue home. He's making the forefront of his campaign. Let's play another clip for you here.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for being here. Thank you for emphasizing our law enforcement interests here in the state. I think what you're going to find are these are dedicated professionals all across the state who have been on the front lines. And we'll hopefully have an opportunity to talk about some of the bigger problems here. Matter of fact, we just had some minors were being solicited by illegal immigrants in a very rural county, not too far from here, Shiawassee County. The sheriff is here and hopefully can talk about that. We believe that crime is going to be an important issue because it's hitting home. Not only the murder here, we had a minor assaulted in Livingston County, my home county. We have now minors who are being solicited in Shiawassee County. Certainly the murder of Ruby. It's a big deal. General?
Mr. President, great to see you again. As a warrior.
See, Trump is meeting with law enforcement officials in Michigan, and they're highlighting some of the things that have been going on because of Biden's open border policies. And the Democrat governor, Gretchen Whitmer, is doing nothing about it. She's actually offering $500 to, I think, $500 a month or something like that for people to house illegal aliens inside their homes. It's crazy. And what were once safe, clean, small, quaint communities are now being overrun by people who should not be here. I'm sorry, just the way it is. But I'm going to play an ad from a campaign ad from Trump. It's called "Stop Biden's Border Bloodbath."
A murder on Grand Rapids southwest side yesterday.
Armed and dangerous.
This is the parking lot where police responded yesterday to gunfire reports, and it is where they found 22-year-old Leah Gomez, who was pronounced dead right here at the scene.
A mom to a nearly 2-year-old daughter with special needs.
Sledgehammer smashing through the jewelry cases.
It should be surprising, but it's not.
Great Lakes Crossing and Oakland Mall in Troy were hit by this crew, linked back to his cell from Chile in South America.
The Chilean gangs have been hitting us very hard. We have 100+ teams in operation right now in America.
Police say Brandon Ortiz Vite used a handgun he bought illegally to shoot Ruby Garcia multiple times on Friday before leaving her body on the freeway and driving off in her car. Just an awful story, and he confessed that he committed the crime.
And see, "Stop Biden's border bloodbath" is great because they tried to use that against him for saying it's going to be a bloodbath. And he was talking about the auto industry. He was not talking about a bloodbath if he doesn't get elected, as far as there's going to be bloodshed across the country. He was talking about in economic terms, and they tried to use it against him like they did with the what was that? The Virginia incident. Was it Charleston? Something, no, not, I mean, I can't remember the name. When he was in Virginia, the very fine people comment, that's what they tried to use it against him, but he turned it around and is now talking about Biden's border bloodbath, real bloodbath caused by Joe Biden. Great messaging by Donald Trump. But here's another story on illegal immigration. This should be the last one here before we go to another topic. Texas National Guard soldier arrested for allegedly smuggling people across the border. Let's check it out.
And now to a News Nation exclusive. Human smuggling along the southern border once again on the rise, and it's apparently being done even by people who swore an oath to protect and defend the homeland. A state National Guard soldier deployed under Operation Lone Star caught on dash cam video trying to evade authorities, accused of trying to smuggle migrants into the U.S. Correspondent Allie Bradley joins us live. So Allie, I'm curious, how was he caught?
Yeah, so multiple agencies responded to this incident here, Kelly, where this Texas State Guard soldier who was deployed from the McAllen area down to Eagle Pass under Governor Abbott's Operation Lone Star, he was busted on Sunday for attempting to transport an illegal immigrant further into the interior. So here's a look at that dash and body cam video that we were able to exclusively obtain here at News Nation of this incident, which happened on Highway 674 in Kinney County. That's a very hot spot for human smuggling, according to the sheriff. Now, this soldier reportedly approached a pop-up tactical checkpoint that was only operational for about 2 or 3 days. So he did not know that checkpoint was there. He turned around to avoid the search, and that's when a pursuit began. DPS picked up that pursuit, spiked the vehicle, eventually bringing it to a stop. Kinney County Sheriff's deputies arrived to assist with that arrest. You saw them pull that individual out of the vehicle to conduct, obviously, a search on him and also on the government vehicle he was driving. Sources tell me he didn't have access to the license plate reader system or any other technology that would have aided him in his efforts out there. He's now facing multiple felonies, including human smuggling and evading arrest. And he was actually also armed, so that escalated the level of his infraction here. Take a listen to what the sheriff had to say.
Well, I'm sure that there's some that are being recruited. I'm sure that there's some that are just sitting back and watching, thinking that they know more than anybody else and know how to get around this situation. If I smuggle 1 or 2, nobody's going to.
All right, he had been promised $5,000 to $6,000 to smuggle the person, according to News Nation sources. Because he was armed, the smuggling charge was elevated, as you heard in that clip. But good job on the Texas DPS with this checkpoint and stopping this guy. We don't need people like this in our military here in Texas. So great job on these guys here for getting, catching that this guy busted a U-turn and getting their attention. But all right, on to some celebrity news. The Rock will not be endorsing Joe Biden. He endorsed Joe Biden in 2020 because he's a celeb. He's a lot of these celebrities feel like they need to vote Democrat. I don't know. I've heard that some are actually paid to do this nonsense. This is from what I hear, that they're actually paid to push the Democrat agenda, the liberal agenda, and vote democratically because they won't get roles anymore. I've heard that. Don't know how true it is, but it could be. Let's check this out from The Rock.
You made that endorsement in 2020. Are you happy with the state of America?
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I'm an optimistic guy, and I believe we can get better. The endorsement that I made years ago.
Doesn't he sound kind of like Obama?
With Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. And I thought back then, when we talk about, hey, I'm in this position where I have some influence, and it's my job then. I felt like that then. It's my job now to exercise my influence and share with this is who I'm going to endorse. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no.
All right, so use your influence to get people to vote for Joe Biden. We had no clue what you were doing. Everything that we said what was going to happen to Biden, we tried to warn people. But the celebrities, they're so clueless. They're in their own bubble. The Rock is ultra wealthy, super successful guy. I'm a fan of his movies, but I just, when this guy opens his mouth about politics, it's pretty annoying to see that a guy that I was a fan of, as far as when it comes to his acting, can be so stupid at the voting booth. But I will give credit where credit is due. He is not going to make that endorsement. He's not happy with the state of America. It took a disastrous Joe Biden presidency for him to see that, but we all saw it coming. Is he going to vote for Trump? I don't know. He won't be endorsing Trump because he's afraid to lose the backing of Hollywood, I assume. He'll be blacklisted. But The Rock has enough money and name recognition to get around that. He can start his own thing. He can come over to the conservative media side and we'll embrace him. Well, I mean, it's happened before. But these celebrities are so afraid to get blacklisted, or they're afraid to come out in their support on Trump. He's not voting for Biden. Is he voting for RFK? Don't know, but he's not happy with the way things are. He sees with the sky-high inflation, the border crisis, and all of that going on. It's not going to impact him as much as it would like you and I, but he still sees it. Yeah, hopefully he'll... Look, we'll see if he votes for Trump. I doubt he's going to make any announcement about that. We'll never know. Likely. Yeah. So I'll give credit where credit is due, but yeah, I'm glad he was able to see it for his own eyes. Now we're going to Charlemagne the God. He has something to say, who also has a lot of influence, a lot of followers on social media platforms and YouTube. A very big platform. Talking about DEI. He said it's garbage. Let's check it out.
It means more fair hiring policies, new anti-discrimination rules for the workplace, and sensitivity training seminars. And the first thing it led to was a shitload of ads.
Real progress on diversity and inclusion doesn't happen without real work.
Say celebrate diversity into your X1 voice remote to discover curated content today.
Every day, General Mills serves the world by making food people love. And inclusion is one of our secret ingredients.
At Kraft Heinz, our purpose is to make life delicious. And we believe we can't achieve that without one essential ingredient: diversity. It's diversity that makes life delicious.
We're on a 400-year-long journey, and scars don't fade. But neither does hope.
Ask your doctor if black people are right for you. That's right. Nobody's buying Vaseline because of diversity. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever actually bought Vaseline. It's just there. Like, it comes with the house, right? So that's how things stood in 2020, but that was like 15 years ago. Today, when people talk about DEI, it's more likely to sound like this.
DEI is just a rebranded version of hating White people. DEI, in this case, stands for divisive, erroneous, and insidious.
DEI, which stands for didn't earn it.
Discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination.
DEI. DEI stands for Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and Ice Cube. Yeah. Y'all cheering out there, but do you want with attitude coming to your office? These right-wingers are crazy, right? Jesus. But here's the part where you all stop applauding everything I say. The truth about DEI is that although it's well-intentioned, it's mostly garbage, okay? It's kind of like the Black Little Mermaid. Just because racists hate it doesn't mean it's good. And you know I'm right, because every one of you has sat through one of those diversity training sessions and thought, this is some bullshit. And it's not just you. Over 900 studies have shown that DEI programs don't make the workplace better for minorities. In fact, it can actually make things worse because of the backlash effect. Remember DARE from school? Y'all remember DARE? Yeah.
That's a good clip right there. I mean, I didn't know that it actually does. I mean, that there was a study done like that, and I couldn't tell anybody just based on the face value of it that does more harm than good. It doesn't help anybody in the long run or in the short term. But I talked about this before, how the University of Texas Austin, UT Austin, has gutted DEI employees and closed down some departments because of the new Texas law, SB 17, which says universities, state-funded universities, cannot have these types of departments in their school. They can't hire people based off of race, blah blah blah, gender or anything like that. It's supposed to be based off of merit. But yes, DEI is garbage, and I'm glad that people are waking up to this. And I see companies are starting to pull back on this because of the backlash, and that's a good thing. I'm glad people are out there speaking up, and people like Charlemagne the God. Of whether I don't agree with his politics, but I'm glad he has a platform to say things like this, and he has some common sense on certain issues. But yeah, I'm glad that that's out there and people could see that for themselves, that it's BS. And we need to get some sanity back in America. DEI needs to be gone altogether. And look, yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. Real quick, gas prices top $3.50 under Joe Biden, spiking more than 45% under Uncle Joe. The nationwide average of regular gas prices topped $3.54 a gallon, spiking more than 45%. This is from Breitbart. In the past month, gas prices rose 20 cents, about $1 more expensive than when Trump left office. Yeah, this is something else that's hitting people. That's a very important issue around gas prices, right along with grocery prices are things that you use on a daily basis, and you see this impacting you directly. Yeah, I just want to share that with you because it highlights another reason why things have been such a disaster. And then check this out: Jimmy Kimmel went to Japan and said it was clean. And the U.S. is filthy. Let's check it out.
Next up, Jimmy Kimmel, fresh from a trip to the Clean, Orderly Society of Japan, comes home and says this about America.
But now, after traveling to Japan, I realized that this place, this USA we're always chanting about, is a filthy and disgusting country. We were in Japan for 7 days. Not only did I not encounter a single dirty bathroom, the bathrooms in Tokyo and Kyoto are cleaner than our operating rooms here. There's no litter. People carry their own trash. And guess what? They clean up after themselves.
He's right. I've been to Japan. It's amazing. It's so clean. But the irony of that coming from Jimmy Kimmel, boasting about Japan, a totally monochromatic, much more authoritarian nation than the United States. In Japan, basically everybody is Japanese. There's no open borders, that's for sure. And much stricter laws, by the way. There's no filth. It's not like Los Angeles and all our other filthy big cities that are run by the people that Jimmy Kimmel votes for and supports with his money. and bullies you into voting for. So what exactly is he bragging about? Is he bragging about the fact that Japan is way better than what the libs have done to this country? Because, yeah, Jimmy, I think we all can agree on that. I think you might be a little bit confused about who you support politically, because all the nasty, dirty places in this country are run by your party. Next up.
Yeah, Rob Schmidt, my favorite Newsmax host, is absolutely right. Jimmy Kimmel goes to another country is much more orderly in a lot of ways, and sees how clean it is. I heard that you have women who are retired old ladies in their 60s or 70s doing cleanup work. They go to the train stations. They're hired to do these cleanup jobs. They clean the train stations and they clean up to keep it from being filthy. That's their job. They go in there and they keep it nice. And Jimmy Kimmel goes over there and he comes back to the U.S. to his hometown of L.A. and sees how filthy it is. I'm sorry, but your party did this. You vote for these people. You keep voting for these Democrats, and these are the results that you get. I'm not saying Republicans are perfect, but look, I live in a a place that's run by conservatives, the city council level and at the mayoral level, and this place is clean. This place is very clean. They take a lot of pride in the city, and it's very safe. And you can't say the same about that in a lot of these liberal places. And Jimmy Kimmel is, like Rob Schmidt said, confused on who you vote for. He has no idea that the people that he votes for are contributing to the society he lives in. He goes to another country and sees how filthy, how much cleaner it is compared to where you live. Tucker Carlson said the exact same thing. Go to Japan, it's super clean. And you come back to LA and our big cities, and it's filthy. Shouldn't be that way. You should live in a safe, clean environment. Yeah, speaking of Gavin Newsom, speaking of liberal policies in California, Gavin Newsom's restaurant offers $16 per hour starting wage after he signs law requiring $20 minimum for fast food workers. Now, is this from the Post Millennial? Let's check it out. California Governor Gavin Newsom is facing mounting backlash after it was revealed that a restaurant in which he has partial ownership is offering jobs at $16 per hour, when the state recently passed a law forcing fast food joints to pay $20 an hour to employees. Now, he doesn't own a fast food chain, but he did get some backlash for this. There's a job posting for a busser at Pump Jack Cafe starting off at $16 an hour. Yeah. Now look, the new law of the minimum $20 minimum applies only to restaurants offering limited sit-down or tabling service, such as McDonald's or Wendy's, and other classic fast food chains that have at least 60 locations. Plum Jack Cafe has 4 locations and is below the standard of reaching a $20 minimum wage requirement. However, the situation has still drawn criticism against the governor. California Republican Assembly member Joe Patterson took issue and slammed the governor on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I wonder why governors' new food businesses don't pay $20 an hour. Live posting at $16 an hour in Olympic Valley. It's very, very expensive to live there, but he doesn't do as he tells others and doesn't pay a living wage. That's exactly right. Those requirements don't impact him or his business. I mean, this is the same as when he tells people to wear a mask and he goes inside of a restaurant and doesn't wear a mask. The rules don't apply to him. Yes, the requirements are different for the big chains, but who knows if he had those requirements met to not impact his business. I don't know, but I think it's funny that he's offering $16 an hour, but he wants other businesses to pay $20. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that right there. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, follow on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching this or listening to me on. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.